An adverb is a word that changes or simplifies the meaning of a verb, adjective, other adverb, clause, or sentence. Adverbs typically answer questions such as how, in what way, when, where, and to what extent. This function is called the adverbial function, and is realized not just by single words but by adverbial phrases and adverbial clauses. Uses: adverbs are words like slowly, now, soon, and suddenly. An adverb usually modifies a verb or a verb phrase. It provides information about the manner, place, time, frequency, certainty, or other circumstances of the activity denoted by the verb or verb phrase. Examples: 1. The kids are skating together. Adverbs can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. 1. You are quite right. 2. She spoke very loudly. In English, adverbs of manner are often formed by adding -ly to adjectives. Other languages often have similar methods for deriving adverbs from adjectives, or else use the same form for both adjectives and adverbs. Some examples are listed under adverbs in specific languages below. Where the meaning permits, adverbs may undergo comparison, taking comparative and superlative forms. In English this is usually done by adding or and most before the adverb, although there are a few adverbs that take inflected forms, such as well, for which better and best are used. For more information about the use of adverbs in English, see English grammar, adverbs. For use in other languages, see adverbs in specific languages below, and the articles on individual languages and their grammars. Adverbs as a catch-all category. Adverbs are considered a part of speech in traditional English grammar and are still included as a part of speech in grammar taught in schools and used in dictionaries. However, modern grammarians recognize that words traditionally grouped together as adverbs serve a number of different functions. Some would go so far as to call adverbs a catch-all category that includes all words that do not belong to one of the other parts of speech. A more logical approach to dividing words into classes relies on recognizing which words can be used in a certain context. For example, the only type of word that can be inserted in the following template to form a grammatical sentence is a noun, the is read. When this approach is taken, it is seen that adverbs fall into a number of different categories. For example, some adverbs can be used to modify an entire sentence, whereas others cannot. Even when a sentential adverb has other functions, the meaning is often not the same. For example, in the sentences she gave birth naturally and naturally, she gave birth, the word naturally has different meanings. Naturally as a sentential adverb means something like of course, and as a verb modifying adverb means in a natural manner. This naturally distinction demonstrates that the class of sentential adverbs is a closed class, whereas the class of adverbs that modify verbs isn't. Words like very and particularly afford another useful example. We can say Perry is very fast, but not Perry very won the race. These words can modify adjectives but not verbs. On the other hand, there are words like here and there that cannot modify adjectives. We can say the sock looks good there but not it is a their beautiful sock. The fact that many adverbs can be used in more than one of these functions can confuse this issue, and it may seem like splitting hairs to say that a single adverb is really two or more words that serve different functions. However, this distinction can be useful, especially considering adverbs like naturally that have different meanings in their different functions. Huddleston distinguishes between a word and a lexicogrammatical word. Not is an interesting case. Grammarians have a difficult time categorizing it, and it probably belongs in its own class. Adverbs in specific languages, listed below are some of the principles for formation and use of adverbs in certain languages. For more information, see the articles on individual languages and their grammars. In English adverbs can be formed from most adjectives with the ending -ly, and there are also many independent adverbs. For detailed information, see English grammar, adverbs. In Dutch adverbs have the basic form of their corresponding adjectives and are not inflected. In German the term adverb is differently defined than in the English language. German adverbs form a group of not inflectable words. An English adverb, which is derived from an adjective, is arranged in the German language under the adjectives with adverbial use in the sentence. The others are also called adverbs in the German language. In Scandinavian languages, adverbs are typically derived from adjectives by adding the suffix t, which makes it identical to the adjective's neuter form. Scandinavian adjectives, like English ones, are inflected in terms of comparison by adding /i or /ast. In inflected forms of adjectives the t is absent. Periphrastic comparison is also possible. In Romance languages many adverbs are formed from adjectives by adding ment or meant. Other adverbs are single forms which are invariable. In the Romanian language, the vast majority of adverbs are simply the masculine singular form of the corresponding adjective, one notable exception being bine/bun. However, there are some Romanian adverbs that are built from certain masculine singular nouns using the suffix -ie unregistered trademark te, such as the following ones: bar florin -ie unregistered trademark te, tina -ie unregistered trademark te, bar florin ba florin te unregistered trademark te, fra florin -ie unregistered trademark te, etc. Interlingua also forms adverbs by adding ment to the adjective. If an adjective ends in c, the adverbial ending is a ment. A few short, invariable adverbs, such as ben, well, and mal, badly, are available and widely used. In Esperanto, adverbs are not formed from adjectives but are made by adding e directly to the word root. Thus, from bolna derived bone, well, and bona, good. See also, special Esperanto adverbs. In Hungarian adverbs are formed from adjectives of any degree through the suffixes -l, ¼ l and an n depending on the adjective. For example, sa copyright piece, sa copyright pen, or the comparative zeb seben. Modern Standard Arabic forms adverbs by adding the indefinite accusative ending into the root. For example, kathir, many, becomes kathir and much. However, Arabic often avoids adverbs by using a cognate accusative plus an adjective. Austronesian languages generally form comparative adverbs by repeating the root, similarly to the plural noun. Japanese forms adverbs from verbal adjectives by adding to the stem and from nominal adjectives by placing after the adjective instead of the copular or. These derivations are quite productive, but there are a few adjectives from which adverbs may not be derived. In Celtic languages, an adverbial form is often made by preceding the adjective with a preposition. This is go in Irish or guy in Scottish Gaelic, meaning until. In Cornish, in is used, meaning in. In Portuguese, there is just one suffix used to create adverbs from adjectives meant. The same suffix is used in interlingua, which is equivalent to English isly. In modern Greek, an adverb is most commonly made by adding the endings I plus or minus and or I permil I to the root of an adjective. Often, the adverbs formed from a common root using each of these endings have slightly different meanings. So, I micron I to the first I yields I micron I to the first I plus or minus and I micron I permil I. Not all adjectives can be transformed into adverbs by using both endings. I registered trademark I cubed I becomes I cubed I registered trademark I cubed I plus or minus, but not normally I cubed I cubed I permil I. When the I permil I ending is used to transform an adjective whose tonal accent is on the third syllable from the end, such as I micron I florin I 1/4 I, the corresponding adjective is accented on the second syllable from the end. Compare I micron I florin I 1/4 I plus or minus and I micron I to the first I florin I registered trademark I 1/4 I permil I, which both mean officially. There are also other endings with particular and restricted uses I micron I to the first I florin I, etc. For example, I plus or minus I to the first I 1/4 I permil I, and I plus or minus I florin I paragraph I. I plus or minus I micron I 3/4 a micron I, and I plus or minus I florin I to the first I cubed I 1/4 I micron I plus or minus I cubed I to the first I florin I, and blister in English and I plus or minus I plus or minus I cubed I plus or minus I to the first I florin I, etc. In Latvian, an adverb is formed from an adjective, by changing the masculine or feminine adjective endings s and a to I. Labs, meaning good, becomes labai for well. Latvian adverbs have a particular use in expressions meaning to speak, or to understand a language. Rather than use the noun meaning Latvian Russian, the adverb formed form these words is used. As runāju latviski krieviski means I speak Latvian Russian, or very literally I speak Latvianly Russianly. When a noun is required, the expression used means literally language of the Latvians Russians, Latvija Erkevu valida. In Russian, and analogously in Ukrainian and some other Slavic languages, most adverbs are formed by removing the adjectival suffices th to the first th degree, or th micron from an adjective, and replacing them with the adverbial th 3/4. For example, nth squared th to the first, th cubed th degree n euro th 1/2 th degree, and nth 1/4 th degree nth 1/2 th micron become nth squared th 3/4, th cubed th degree n euro th 1/2 th 3/4, and nth 1/4 th degree nth 1/2 th 3/4. Similarly, th plus or minus n on euro nth to the first, nth 3/4 n euro th 3/4 nth to the first. And thn euro th micron thn euro th degree nth 1/2 nth to the first become th plus or minus n on euro th 3/4, nth 3/4 n euro th 3/4 nth 3/4, thn euro th micron thn euro th degree nth 1/2 th 3/4. Another wide group of adverbs are formed by gluing preposition to following oblique case form, th from plus n euro nth degree the area thn euro nth degree rarely, th 1/2 th degree onto plus th 3/4 th 1/2 n florin bottomer th 1/2 th degree th 3/4 th 1/2 n florin downwards. As well, note that adverbs are mostly placed before the verbs they modify, th 3/4 th plus or minus n euro th to the first nth 1/2 th cubed th degree n euro th 1/2 th 3/4 nth squared th degree n. Although, there is no specific word order in East Slavic languages. In Korean, adverbs are formed by replacing e currency of the dictionary form of a verb with e squared a. So, I per mil 1/2 e currency becomes I per mil 1/2 e squared a. In Turkish, the same word usually serves as adjective and adverb, I bakar plus or minus z, I anlamak. In Chinese, adverbs end in the word or degree I 1/4 csh I 1/4 per mil, of which the English equivalent is li. In Persian, many adjectives serve as adverbs too, so there is no obvious way to recognize them out of context. The only exceptions are those Arabic adverbs with a oom suffix such as oomo plus or minus oom, uoomo to the first oom, etc. See also, grammatical conjunction, prepositional adverb, pronominal adverb, references, Huddleston, Rodney. English Grammar, an Outline. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. PA 7 doi, 10.2277/0521311527. ISBN A0-521-32311-8. Sink, Guglielmo. 1999. Adverbs and functional heads a Euro across linguistic perspective. Oxford, Oxford University Press. Hagemann, Liliane 1995. The Syntax of Negation. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. Ernst, Thomas. 2002. The Syntax of Adjuncts. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. Jack Hendoff, Ray 1972. Semantic Interpretation in Generative Grammar. MIT Press. External links, The Online Dictionary of Language Terminology.